Welcome to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Today, let's talk about honoring our commitments. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. My name is Kale Houser, your host for this afternoon, this evening, this morning, this day, night, whichever time you may be listening to this or watching this on YouTube. And I sincerely hope you are, and I hope you're finding benefit from it as what keeps you coming back for more. I do appreciate you being willing to listen and to kind of mull around some of the thoughts and ideas that I present to you, because the entire intent of me doing this podcast and getting on here is really just to help you work through things, help you figure out the disconnects, help you figure out the things you maybe should be doing, the things you shouldn't be doing anymore, and how to hopefully think a little bit differently about your leadership journey and how you impact your teams around you. And one of the things I wanted to talk about today, because this came up recently in somebody that we were talking with, is about honoring your commitments. Now, it is absolutely critical that you need to commit to things. Now, this is especially true in business because, as Grant Cardone very often says, at pretty much any training I've ever been at, he talks about once you commit, that's when the creativity follows. Like, you have to commit first. You can't expect to be creative and come up with all these ideas and random things in order to be successful without committing first. And I want to talk about that just a little bit in a little bit different of an aspect. Because we talked to a gentleman, and one of the reasons was kind of, mulling over joining our program and joining us with our coaching with leadership and sales and marketing, was like, well, I've committed to this 3-month course over here that's offered through my company. And we're like, okay, well, that's great. And we're going through and talking to him about that and things. And that was his main thing of, he was wanting to essentially honor his commitment to this program and basically see how it was going to go. And then it became the question of, okay, well, what does that mean? What does that look like to you? And are you even convinced that that's the thing that's going to help you, especially after talking to us and what we have to offer? To me, it's very similar to committing to a course of action. But then once you find something new and better, easier, cheaper, whatever that fits better for your goals, for your objectives that you want and that you say you want for your life, why stay committed to that old thing? It's kind of if you joined a gym and you signed, say, a 3-month contract to go to your local gym, and they had this great equipment and all this stuff, and you're going every day and you're not getting the results. You're just not getting the results, and you're not getting the results. Nothing's changing. You're just getting sore and tired, and nobody's helping you, and you're figuring out. And then finally you talk to somebody and says, well, actually, for your body type, for your age, for what you're wanting to do, because there's a difference between somebody that wants to become, like a super fit, toned bodybuilder type of physique versus a marathon runner versus a swimmer versus, a power lifter. Like, there's different things and different ways to go about it. But now imagine somebody come up to you and said, well, actually, based on your goals, you want to run a marathon, 30 miles, 100 miles, an ultra marathon. Why are you focusing so much on, max lifting and deadlifts and bench pressing and all this kind of stuff, where you need to be focusing on endurance training and long distance running, all those things? You can understand this concept. It's a disconnect. But then you go into that person and say, well, I understand my goal is to run this marathon, but I've already committed to this gym membership and going through this program of powerlifting and strength training and bulking up. I'm pounding like 400 grams of protein a day and eating 6 meals a day to bulk up and all this stuff. But somebody has now told you, like, what you're doing is not going to get you where you want to go. But you're like, oh, but I'm committed. I'm committed to this course of action. I signed this contract, blah, 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 blah. There has to be a point. There has to be an opportunity when it arises that you can take advantage of that. Because as the Air Force is famous for saying, flexibility is the key to air power, right? We kind of all had these taglines that we threw around a lot of time in joking with each other, just, running around as things inevitably always changed. Our plans went out the window after first contact. But in business, it absolutely is, especially when you've been exposed to something that will serve you better, that will serve your people better. Whether that's a mindset thing, a coaching thing, some new technology. AI is absolutely disrupting the entirety of especially the marketing industry. And if you're just going, well, I'm committed to this course of action over here, without bothering to look into, to explore, to take advantage of new opportunities, then you're leaving yourself in the dust, man. You're tying your own noose. Let alone, what is your team seeing you do? If you're in charge and leading a team and they're looking to you for direction, they're looking to you for that guidance, they're looking to you to provide that vision. But if you're just so stuck on that one thing and we're going to go this one way to get there without and completely ignoring other new opportunities that could benefit you. Now, I'm not saying you need to take advantage or get sidetracked, because you do need to be focused. But I hope you see the nuance here is focus on the goal. My goal is I want to run a marathon in 6 months. Okay. Not my goal is to be a power lifter and bench press 400 pounds. Here my butt 150 pounds and I'm going to bench press 400 pounds, blah, blah, whatever. But you need to say, I'm stuck on the goal, but I found a better way to get there by taking advantage of these different opportunities. So I would strongly encourage you, be on the lookout for these opportunities. You need to be flexible. You need to be adaptable. You need to show your team that you're willing to at least look at new ideas and not be so pigeonholed into one way of doing things, especially as times change. Your industries change, no matter what industry you're in. And especially if you're in some sort of technology type of an industry, it is changing all the time. All the time. Go to any of your industry conferences, and there'll be vendors there who'll be like, yeah, we just invented this new thing, or we created this new way to do things. We wrote this new thing of software that will help be more efficient, blah, 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 blah. There are all kinds of ways that every day things are changing. So I really wanted to encourage you and get on here and just say, it's okay to consider other things as long as you're purposeful. You maintain what your goal is. My goal is to run that marathon. I will do anything short of, cheating in order to help myself reach that goal. If that means hiring a coach, if that means, changing my nutrition powder because this stuff is better for getting lean versus bulking up. If that means changing my diet. If that means going to these therapies or a chiropractor or cold, all those things that will help you get to where you want to go. And that's really what Kale Houser Leadership is here for. So if there's anything we can do for you, and if you found yourself in a position of leadership and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, I was ill prepared for this. My high school English teacher never prepared me for running a team, let alone how to run one effectively. Then please go to kalehouserleadership.com/mistakes. And then you can get my ebook of the 10 biggest mistakes every new leader makes and how to avoid them. And it'd be hugely beneficial to you. If there's anything else we can do for you, please shoot me a DM, leave a comment, or an email at kale@kalehouserleadership.com. I look forward to serving you. And just as a side note, I'm getting ready to book some what I think will be pretty tremendous guests for your benefit. So you'll get to hear some little bit other perspectives of different people's journeys and their perspective on leadership and their past mistakes and successes and all those types of things. So it'll be pretty legit. Likes, comments, and subscribes are fantastic. Let your buddies know, and we'll talk to you soon no matter where you're at in the world. Have a fantastic afternoon. Bye.